Hey guys, so this is a road safety message. You see I see a lot of people, right? Sometimes when you're driving, you like to hold your phone, taking selfie or talking or recording your Insta story or whatever video, right? Please, guys, don't. It's very dangerous. Don't do it while you're driving. Like you see right now, I'm in a left-hand drive car. Today we are in the new Bentley Bentayga. We are in the streets of KL, but this is a very special left-hand drive. It's a pre-production car. Okay, of the new Bentayga, new updated Bentayga. Hi guys, so today I'm now in Dataran Merdeka, and today I'll be reviewing the new Bentley Bentayga. This is a heavily updated version of the Bentayga, so it's not exactly all new, but it's a major facelift. They have changed the entire, all the panels of the front section are new, and also if you come to the back, they have made major changes to the rear end as well. So today we'll be driving from KL here to Ipoh for lunch, and then come back to experience this new Bentley Bentayga. And I think my drive partners are almost ready to hit the road. Okay, so we are heading off, and we have to come back to the acclimatization process. Yeah, so I'm taking the first leg from KL to Ipoh. We are now departing Dataran Merdeka, busy streets of KL. I'm in a left-hand drive vehicle that is worth ringgit 1 million before duties. No pressure at all. Okay, the traffic just cleared, and let's put my foot down a little. The acceleration isn't brutal, but it is still properly rapid. This is a car that really makes the business of going fast extremely effortless. So the 4-liter V8 up front is well, it's an engine that Bobby will be very familiar with from his RS6. It's a 4-liter V8 from the VAG group. Of course, with the kind of tune that's better suited to this application. You get 550 horsepower, 750 Newton meters of torque. 770, sorry. Yeah. 770 Newton meters of torque. And the pull, the behavior of the engine, the way it pulls, right? It's not frantic. So when you deploy the performance of this engine, it feeds you in a surprisingly measured fashion. So you don't feel intimidated flexing the accelerator pedal. And the good thing about having a large capacity engine, 4 liters, where even though you are boosted by a turbocharger, right, lag isn't so much of an issue compared to what it is with all those 1.5 turbo or 2.0 turbo where you notice the lag. In this case, it's a lot less significant of an issue, because the natural strength of the 4-liter engine means that you already have pretty good acceleration at your disposal before the turbos kick in.
Max torque is at 1960 RPM.
So we are already beyond the max.
Yes. We are already high. We are already at max torque. Yeah.
This thing can pull, man. This thing can pull, and I like how effortless it is. It's so what's the word for it? Unintimidating. See, whereas earlier in town, right, when the way I was negotiating through all the tight spaces, I was a little bit on the edge because it's a big car. I'm sitting on the wrong side of the car. But now out on the highway, we've got more space to play with. I'm a bit more accustomed to the dimensions of the car and my position on the road. Oh, this has become so easy to drive. And this reminds me of my previous experience with the Bentayga. The Bentayga, in my previous review, I've mentioned that this is a car that this is a luxury car that you are not you don't feel intimidated to use it on a day-to-day basis. Whereas you wouldn't use a Rolls-Royce Cullinan or a Lamborghini Urus in certain occasions, like when sending your kids to school, going to the market to buy veggie. In the Bentayga, you can do that because it is such an easy car to live with. And if you're like now, we are on the highways, covering long distances. If you're stuck in this, you're cruising on the fast lane, you're minding your own business. Suddenly you come up to a slower car. All right, then you just keep your distance. You wait for the other car to move aside, and the road ahead clears. Pop, with just very little effort, you have recovered all the earlier momentum that you have built up before, and as a result, you don't feel. It is a lot less tiring, trying to sustain sustaining your progress over long distance. Okay, we are exiting the highway at Tanjung Malim, going through the toll. Well, the road is still pretty straight here, but Casey's going to watch out for the cars ahead.
Clear after the iris.
Go, alright. Oh, the acceleration is immediate. And the suspension really soaks up all the bad patches of road so well. And I'm taking this left-hander here. Mid-corner disturbance, no issue. Brake, 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 brake for the traffic light. It's such an easy car to drive and go fast in. So we are 6 kilometers from the driver change, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, I'm gonna need a mask brake because I think for the whole time, right, I've never worn a mask for a prolonged period of time before. There's always when we are going like in even like in a social setting, right?
Yeah.
After a while, you can just walk away and take out your mask when
yeah.
you're alone. But here, it's like Okay, so I'm going to hand over the wheel to Jason soon, and I'll be heading over to the back seat. Hey, that's the Saga 35th anniversary. Anyways, before I get distracted, so just want to remark that I would say that now that I've gotten accustomed to the car's proportions, I've gotten accustomed to driving on the left side of the car. The Bentayga is proving to be a very, very unintimidating car to drive, both on a performance perspective and also in terms of maneuvering it. This car, it actually feels positively agile, and it's the thing that you see some performance cars, right? You drive them. Wait, oh,
Yeah.
okay. Sorry. You drive them, right? It's like you feel, hey, it gets you a bit nervous, but this one doesn't. This one, I'm just going to dismount this, and I'm going to get physically distant from this guy so that I can safely remove my mask. Thank you, Kenneth.
No problem.
Thank you, Jason. The wheel is all yours. Okay. Yeah, saying damn pain in my ears. So what I like about the Bentayga really is how easy it is to live with, right? It is a very usable day-to-day car, not at all intimidating, and I think where driving is concerned, right? You can drive this car anywhere to any occasion, and it's just such a wonderful companion. Okay, so while Jason goes to do his business in the washroom, let me just bring you on the walk around here. So this is the front end. So the panels of the front are new despite the similarities in the design. One thing they have done is that they have enlarged the front grille. So the basic elements, okay, if you are looking this side by side with the old Bentayga, you probably need to do a double take to see which is the new, which is new, which is older. But make no mistake, the panels, the front panels are all new. Even the bonnet is new. These 22-inch wheels. Tana, if you're watching this, you may find the design familiar. Okay, yep, very nice, very regal design. This overall, this rose gold color, very nice tint. Okay, and one design feature I've always liked about the Bentayga is this arch line here. All right, it gives the rear that muscle tone to the car. Now, this part, the tailgate, this will take a bit of debate. I personally much prefer the previous one where you have rectangular headlights. I'm not sure, honestly, I'm not sure these Continental GT inspired taillights work on an SUV body. Maybe it will take time to adjust, but currently at present I still much prefer the rectangular taillights of the previous car. Alright guys, what do you think? Now one thing, now they didn't just change the tail lights, okay, they actually reshaped the aperture, the opening aperture. So the previously the old Bentayga, the boot aperture opened something like this, and the tail lights were split between the between the body and the boot. But now the tail light, the whole tail light unit is contained within the boot, and as part of and as a result of that, they have to put a second light cluster here. It's similar. Remember what Audi did with the Q5? So like in the Audi Q5, right, the whole tail light is contained on the tailgate. So what they have to do is they have to put a secondary tail light here, which contains the reverse light, which contains another signal light, and also like a tail light cluster here, so that when you open the boot, let's say when you're stopped here, when you open the boot, you still have tail light functions, right, for approaching oncoming cars to see. Okay, now as a result of this redesigned tailgate, they've also moved the number plate to the bumper, and as a result, the rear end, the whole rear end of the Bentayga looks completely different from what was before. In fact, when I first saw this, I was wondering, hey, is this an all-new Bentayga? But it's not. It's a major facelift. Okay, so I'm now seated at the back with Jason from Walkaround driving. Let me just show you a bit the accommodations at the back here. Now, it's really not to say it's this. The back seat here, in my opinion, really is not that plush or opulent as what we saw, a few weeks back with the Rolls-Royce Cullinan. But it's still decently appointed, and like you can see here, okay, this button press lowers the sunshade, and it's not lowering. There you go. Maybe I didn't press hard enough. Okay, so just to show you here the trim insert. So you've got this nice wooden trim inserts breaking this in a Bentley they don't have plastics, it's all leather stitched. Alright, leather, and here as well, this nice stitch patterns on the leather really give the seat a bit more give the door cut a bit more texture to it. Okay, you've got the name audio speakers here. Inside here, the door card, this is all leather lined. Okay, so inside here, even inside these hidden corners, the material here feels very, very pleasant to the touch. The seats themselves that I'm sitting on here, you've got recline angle adjustment. Though I have to admit, I'm a little surprised that it's not electric adjustment. Oops. Okay, so you've got angle adjustment here, multiple angles, nice. This is the furthest back, and so it's a good recline. The seat cushion itself here, the angle isn't as as steep as I was expecting. So the thigh support really isn't it doesn't hold your thigh as much as I would expect. Of course, leg room is fantastic. Now, one thing I have to point out is that despite this being a facelift, Bentley actually took the effort to adjust the hip points and the hip points of the rear seats in order to give a more comfortable accommodations and also better leg room for you as well. Okay, now at the back here there are actually options. You can choose to have the 5-seater option as you're seeing here. There's also the option of a 4-seater configuration, which means that this whole center tunnel here is a console, which I believe that will be the most opulent configuration. Or if you need that bit more utility, there's also a 7-seater configuration as well, but I personally don't highly suggest that. I think what you would really want to enjoy the maximum luxury of the Bentayga, you probably want to have 4 or 5 seats at most. Okay, this armrest here, this is really standard Volkswagen Group armrest. Okay, I just realized the spotlight here is on. Alright, and but the materials overall look fantastic. Not an inch of cheap plastics exposed. Everything here is just so nice, so beautiful to the touch. Nice to see, nice to touch. Okay, all completely carpeted on the floor. Now down there you can see there's the 12-volt socket and 2 USB-C ports. Now this tablet here, check this out. Okay, so you pull this out. This is magnetically docked, and you can see the finishing and assembly of this. Very, very nice. Overall, this control unit, I'm properly impressed because firstly, the assembly is substantial, it's heavy, all right, and the unit itself, the display itself, the graphics are crisp, not fanciful in terms of color, but you know, it's smooth. Whenever you browse between, you access between the various functions, the transitions are all very smooth. Okay, radio function not currently available, but you know, all the transitions are smooth, the graphics are crisp. Okay, and just this one really gives the cabin that feel, that what you call it, that it elevates the value perception of this cabin. All right, so yeah, there you have it. That's the display there, and you've got this aircon vents, very simple mechanism wise, but you can see all this is metal, and as soon as I touch it, it feels cold. And this push and pull knobs here also looks, you know, in a way retro, modern, mahal. Okay, so that's it from the back. And oh, check this out, the headrests is this type where you can fold this out to give you better side support. So in case Jason decides to get overly enthusiastic with at the corners, I've got good side head support. Okay, so we are now out in an open plains somewhere in Ipoh, and whilst my friend Jason there is doing interior shots, I shall check out the boot space of the Bentayga. So here you have these buttons here to raise and lower the car. Let me just press this down. Okay. Alright, so I think the whole car dropped, the height dropped by a couple of inches, I think. Yeah, definitely from outside you can see, looking at the gap of the wheel arch, the car is definitely sitting lower now. Okay, and well, nothing remarkable about the boot here except that it's spacious and it's well carpeted, and there are a lot of things under here which I shall not mess about with. Okay, so I'll just let the car raise itself back, And here's the tonneau cover, okay, which you can see here. It's not, it's thick. As you can see here, it's thick, it's substantial, and it's nicely lined. It's the material here is beautiful, nice leather here. So you can see, right, even all these edges here, right, you don't find an inch of bare plastic. Every square inch that you can see on this car, and even some areas where you can't or rarely look at, is covered with carpet or leather, all right, or wood trim. So the finishing that in typical Bentley standards, the finishing that's applied to this car it's of a very, very high quality. So let me just demonstrate the closing of the boot. Okay guys, so while my friend Jason is out there shooting the exterior, let me bring you guys on a tour inside the Bentayga. So from where I am in the driver's seat, first thing I noticed, the steering wheel. They tell me the steering wheel is new. The design of the steering wheel is supposed to be new, but what I'm really seeing here is very familiar controls from the Volkswagen Group. But no shame in that, really. And you can see here, these are the control stocks, signal stocks, cruise control. This car does have active cruise control. It has auto braking, the full autonomous driver assist features. Okay, now then if you look up here, you can see that the instrument cluster is now a full digital display. Previously, the previous Bentayga had a actual analog displays mixed with digital display, and that one actually was more impressive looking, because what Bentley was able to achieve with that one is that they were able to generate a seamless it was a very seamless you know, in a way it's a seamless appearance between the digital and the analog. Not seamless, sorry, homogeneous appearance between the analog and digital displays. Okay, whereas this one is a full digital with a rather, in a way, conservative layout, where you still have the traditional, you know, speedometer on one side, tachometer on one side, but they have this fancy you know, highlighting of the area near the pointers. Okay, and you can see down here, these are the light controls, power window switches. You've got door lock and unlock at the door handle, which is also duplicated across on the passenger side. Right. Overall fit and finish inside here feels absolutely fantastic, and the cabin architecture here is very ingeniously laid out. So what you see here, right, I'll start with the overall architecture first. So you see here, this centerpiece here, okay, what is very clever about this is that all Bentley has to do is that for right-hand drive ones, this piece is changed, the whole instrument vehicle moves over there, this remains the same. And if you come down here, you can see that the opening of this wood panel is the same left and right side. So when you go into right-hand drive, the cup holders and this gear selector panel just swap locations without needing to go to a different trim panel. Very clever. This is the engine start stop button, and this rotary dial here allows you to set between different driving modes. All right. So you see right now I'm in the what they call the desert mode. Okay, and the thing is that let's say now, and the other extreme is sport. So the thing about this is that, right, I can do this, I can rotate this. Okay, it doesn't jump over here, but neither does the rotary knob stop your movement. Okay, so I think what they could have done here is that they should either allow you to just continuously rotate so that you can just infinitely cycle between this, or as you reach the end, there should be a stop action on the rotary knob to prevent you from moving it further. Okay, now let's say you're driving you're on the move, and you know you want to adjust the driving modes. So on the display, on the instrument cluster, the drive mode is actually indicated in this small section, okay, which honestly I missed it at first glance. It wasn't until the Bentley personnel pointed out to me that, hey, is that little small corner there, is a little small icon there above the gear selector indicator, that I was like, oh, okay, that's where you put the drive mode select, the drive mode display. All right, and so you can see here, this is the infotainment system, and the graphics are not fancy, but they are clear, they are crisp, the resolution is good, and it's smooth. The overall interaction is smooth, the browsing experience is smooth, you know, moving between menus and going back and forth, so it's very nice. The Volkswagen Group origins of the display is obvious, but then again, when you're at this segment, right, this price point, this volume, whether you are Ferrari, Bentley, Maserati, Aston Martin, everybody, Rolls-Royce, everybody in this price segment, this volume segment, they all depend on the mass market brands for their infotainment system, which you then overlay with the you know, with a more premium looking UI. That's the way it goes. Okay, so yeah, so this is the infotainment control. This is the infotainment system here. All right, down here you have this is the panel in which you can interact with the infotainment system if you do not want to use your finger, if you do not to touch the screen. And this is the climate control panel. Now, one thing about this is the operation of this is so you have this rotary dials here to control the temperature. All right, you have the rotary dials here to control the temperature. But let's say that you want to adjust fan speed. That is where it gets a bit, the interface gets a bit unintuitive, because you press this button to bring up the fan speed control, but you can only control the fan speed on the screen. Okay, it's not where you press this and this rotary knob becomes fan control. No, it's you press this, the fan control is controlled from the screen, which I think, to me, it doesn't quite make sense. Same with the ventilated seats. You press this button to bring out the seat ventilation screen on the touchscreen. So that to me is not as intuitive as I think it should be. All right, that can be improved. So say for example, this one, what could have been done is I press this button one time to activate the seat ventilation, say speed 3, then press again, activate 2 speed, 1 speed, and so on. So that would have been a lot more intuitive, a lot more easier to use on the move. Now the one thing that they have done to change here with the controls is with the dashboard design rather, is that this buttress has been lengthened rearwards. So what happens is that when you're driving enthusiastically, it gives you better support to your knees, you know, if you choose to drive it enthusiastically. Okay, and down here, this over here you have a wireless charging tray. All right, and the surface is rubberized, so your phone don't slide about. Cup holder, and you can see here, this is another small tray which you can put things, and inside here also another compartment, okay, with 12-volt socket and 2 USB-C ports. Now just to show you the seats. All right, so the headrest here, and also you have the Bentley wings on, it's nicely stitched on the seats. Okay, the one, as always, the quality of materials, the overall fit and finish inside here is just absolutely superb. The other thing what I really like here, once again, to show you the aircon vents. This is inspired, this design of these vents inspired by the Bentley wings, and this one has the option of a Breitling clock, which this option, as I know, don't come cheap. In the previous Bentayga, this was a £160,000 option, so this one don't come cheap for sure. Right. Okay, so one thing I'm going to try now is the massage seats. Alright, so I'm going to bring... So to activate the massage seats, there's a button down here which you press. You see this rotary knob here? There's another button down here. Press this. Okay. And this brings out the massage seats control.
Intensity.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Press one more time. One more time.
One more time.
One more time. Press.
Okay. Oh yes, I can feel the pressure. Nice. I think this is the first time that I'm in a in-car massage that I would actually say it's superior to the one I have in my S-Max. Yeah, the pressure that it applies on your back. Yeah. It's there, it's noticeable, and it's substantial. Okay, time to put on my mask. Okay, so we are on our way back to KL, and I must say, my overall conclusion of the Bentayga here really is that this is such a fantastically usable day-to-day luxury SUV. Okay, and I'm speaking in the context that, you know, it's one, the overall fittings, the design of this car, it looks properly luxurious, properly premium. Everything you see inside here, every square inch inside this car is just so well built and so sumptuously finished. Maybe perhaps the rear end, it's the rear part of the cabin, maybe it is a bit, I would say, it's a bit what you call it? It's I wouldn't use the word borsong, but it is unspectacular. But it is, in terms of features, there's nothing much to play with at the back. But besides the little heavy tablet, but you know, even from there, you look at the way they construct all the everything, you know, all around the car. It's the attention that they lavish in, you know, in the fit and finish is just unmistakable. Now then, there's the drive. The chassis is fantastic. This car is stable on the highways, yet it is supremely agile when you want to maneuver around tight spaces. So yes, in the tightest of roads, you feel the size of it, but generally this car is not at all cumbersome to drive. It is not intimidating to drive. And when on that same topic, this 4-liter V8, and the transmission, it is a good combination in that it delivers the kind of performance you expect of an SUV in this segment. But the delivery of that performance is linear, it's manageable, it's not at all tiresome to drive, and that I think is the word I'm looking for. It's not tiresome. This is an SUV you can use. You can bring this SUV to all your big occasions, you know, your big ballroom dinners. You turn up and people look at you, it gives you a very you know, that impression that you've made it. All right. Or at the same token, you can also use this car to go about your day-to-day business, your grocery runs, your school runs, all that, no problem. This car will do it just as well and without fuss. Now, of course, this currently what we have here, this is the Bentayga in base 4-liter V8 configuration. So this one has 550 horsepower. Later on, they will be adding more engine options to the menu. There will be a plug-in hybrid variant that they will launch, and they will follow it up with the performance flagship that one has the 6-liter W12, and I think that's something really to look forward to, because my previous experience with the Bentayga, it was with the 6-liter W12, and that car, right, as much as I would say that this 4-liter V8 gives you more than adequate performance, the W12 gives that added level of effortlessness that you know that you can only get with properly large capacity engines. That feeling that, you know, as you wheel the throttle, there is still a lot in reserve that the car is not giving you. All right, that feeling that the car is telling you that, you know, hey, you know, there's still more to give if you want it. Right, this one with this 4-liter V8, I think in day-to-day use, all right, in maybe a bit more enthusiastic use, you will use a bigger proportion of its performance. But with the 6-liter W12, right, you enjoy that added feeling of effortlessness that somehow this one has it, but not quite at the same level. But regardless of the powertrain that you choose, right, I would say that the Bentayga really, to me, is definitely one of the best luxury SUVs out there. And in my opinion, if I personally were to be shopping for an SUV at this kind of price point, at a 7-figure price point, to me the Bentayga would definitely be my first choice. All right, it is just a question of whether do I want to settle for this V8 or do I want to go the extra mile and get the W12. That's all.